What is next for your Miami Heat? Coming up right after this. Welcome back to the KO Podcast YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Barral. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, as well as follow us on all our social medias, which include Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We have a Discord server. We have a Twitch. So make sure to go follow all of those. Those are all linked below in the description. Today, we are starting a new series called What is Next? This What is Next series is for each team that goes out in the playoffs. What is next for that team? I'm going to go through top 5 priorities for each team that gets knocked out of the playoffs. The first team that was knocked out were the Miami Heat, losing in 4 games to the Milwaukee Bucks. So that is the first team that we will be talking about in our What is Next series. We're going to go through the top 5 priorities in the offseason for your Miami Heat. Once again, let's make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get this started. The first priority for the Miami Heat is bring back valued players. Now, what do I mean by bring back valued players? What I mean by this is pretty simple. Bring back the guys that have value for you and that guys that will help. The first player that has to be back on this roster is Duncan Robinson. That is the main guy the Miami Heat have to prioritize in signing. The next guy, I think, in my opinion, would be Victor Oladipo. Oladipo, even though he did play 4 games with the Miami Heat, he was pretty solid. His first couple weren't that good. Then the Lakers one, he was incredible. The Golden State Warriors one, which was his first game, solid. He was the guy who put up the second most points on this Miami Heat team at 19.4 points per game. Victor Oladipo is a guy who I do have trust in, but I'm not giving him over a 3-year deal. I'm most likely giving him a 1+1 deal where it's a player option or a team option that second year. It's not guaranteed. So that is what I mean by a 1+1 or just a 1-year deal, 1 year, $10 million deal, a prove it deal. And then you go out there in the market and come back to us for another 4 years on a max contract type of situation, but a situation where he does get more money than the first time. Another player that I really want to include here is Kendrick Nunn. I do not think Kendrick Nunn returns to the Miami Heat. I know the New York Knicks have had this guy on their radar for a while now. Goran Dragic, I do think he returns to Miami on a 1-year deal, not for $10 million, maybe a $5-6 million deal. Andre Iguodala is another guy I could see the Miami Heat bringing back on a 1-year, $3 million deal or $10 million. I don't think $10 million. I don't think Dragic and Iguodala are going to get $10 million. I know they're both going to get declined for their team options. It's extremely obvious when it comes to that scenario. So let's go to our priority number 2 is bring in superstar free agents. And the first 3 that come to my mind are DeMar DeRozan, Kawhi Leonard, and Damian Lillard. Now you should be saying, Kevin, Damian Lillard, he's under contract for like 4 years with Portland. Yeah, Miami could trade for Damian Lillard. I think it would be a sign and trade thing. You could maybe give him Kendrick Nunn. You could give up Kendrick Nunn, maybe trade away Tyler Hero. In that case, I would 100% trade Tyler Hero. I would trade Duncan Robinson if it's for Damian Lillard or CJ McCollum. I'm not going to include McCollum in this video. I'm just include the top 3 guys that put in the picture you guys are seeing right now. The next guy is DeMar DeRozan. I think he's one of the least talked about free agents on the market. I think Miami could extremely benefit off of this guy. This is a player who could play you power forward and small forward, help you out. He's kind of a Trevor Ariza, just a lot better and a lot younger in this case. And then the final guy is obviously Kawhi Leonard. I could see Kawhi Leonard easily taking his talents coming down to Miami and trying to get that championship. The big 3 of Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, and Kawhi Leonard. Then you would also have Victor Oladipo helping you, Goran Dragic, Duncan Robinson if he re-signs Miami. The good thing about these guys like Duncan Robinson and Kendrick Nunn is they can match any offer. So Miami pretty much is going to keep Duncan Robinson unless it's such a big deal that Miami just lets him walk. I doubt Miami does that. I really, really want Duncan Robinson to stay in Miami. Please, Duncan, if you're watching this, stay on the Miami Heat, man. We need you. We need you to come back. We want to win another championship. We're not going to run it back. We're going to make things happen, man. And that's what I thought. That's my sales pitch, man. It's Miami too. It's a great city, great organization. We have the Heat culture out here. There's not much to say to pitch to not just Duncan Robinson, but all these other free agents that might want to be interested in coming to Miami, or is one of those rumored guys to come to Miami. DeMar DeRozan's easily going to be heavily rumored to come to Miami, even though the reports run out. Dennis Schroeder. Priority number 2 is easily bring in superstar talent to help out Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. Let's go into priority number 3. Priority number 3 is very simple. Find a guy to play next to Bam Adebayo. That was one of the biggest struggles this season, and it looked like it would have been Kelly Olynyk until he got traded for Bjelica. Bjelica never really started for the Miami Heat because since it wasn't Bam next to him. So now we pretty much know. I think Bjelica does not return to the Miami Heat, especially since they barely played him, and he just wasn't. He was good. He was good for the Miami Heat. Miami didn't give him a chance. and I don't think he returns. Now, the options that come to my mind are guys like Blake Griffin, Paul Millsap, Trevor Ariza. Bringing back Trevor Ariza was very good for the Miami Heat. He was in that Myers-Leonard trade, which extremely benefited the Miami Heat. I think Miami makes that kind of a deal and gets brings back Trevor Ariza on a 1-year deal. Minimum contract would be good for him, maybe a $3-4 million at most. I mean, it's just that scenario. I do like Trevor Ariza. I think Paul Millsap could come here on the 1 or 2 year deal. How about the Miami Heat? Blake Griffin's another guy, unless they don't win the championship. I think Blake goes out there and gets a 2-year deal. I don't think he gets more than 2 years. He's not the Blake Griffin that we remember from the Lob City era. He's going to be a Blake Griffin that is going to help you off the bench. But in this case, I would see him coming as a starter for the Miami Heat. Now, we're going to move on to priority number 4 for your Miami Heat. Priority number 4, I think, is just the most important priority, which is to find your starting point guard. The Miami Heat have always had this situation where you don't know who your starting point guard is going to be. I've always been the guy to say either Nunn or Dragic. In this case, I think Nunn doesn't return, so I would say Dragic. But Dragic is still uncertain if he will re-sign with the team, because I'm almost certain Miami declines that option so they can go out there and get a superstar free agent. Or you go out there and just say, Dragic, we'll bring you back on a 1-year deal, $3-4 million. And then we will bring in Oladipo as our starting point guard. That is probably the option that I would see most effective. And then we have the option to go into a guy like Damian Lillard and make a trade for him, trade away Hero, do a sign and trade with Kendrick Nunn. I think that would be the most obvious one, since Portland would need a point guard after that, even though they have Monfrey Simons. But I think they would like another guy like Kendrick Nunn in there to help out. So we'll see what happens when it comes to bringing in a point guard. Obviously, there's the option of Dennis Schroeder. You have a guy like Victor Oladipo, who that is pretty much a point guard as well. So it's going to be interesting what Miami does. They could also bring in a young guy, an undrafted free agent. Miami does not have a pick this season in the 2021 NBA draft. So we'll see what happens with your Miami Heat, my Miami Heat, on the with this 4th priority. We're going to move on to priority number 5 right now. Okay, so priority number 5 is maybe one of the biggest priorities, which is the two-way contracts. Miami is known for developing players under the two-way contract. Most notably, Max Strus, Gabe Vincent were one of some of the most notable players. They also had Duncan Robinson, Kendrick Nunn, bringing them from the G League up. So those are some players that really are examples of what Miami's development has done throughout the years and what they could do and how helpful it turns out to be. I think Miami should 100% bring back Max Strus and Gabe Vincent on two-way deals. I think that's the most they'll get, and especially since they are going to be allowed to play in the playoffs, since that new rule has made that two-way players will be able to play throughout the whole season, which includes the NBA playoffs. So I think that two-way spot comes in a lot more important than it was maybe last season for the Miami Heat, and not just the Miami Heat, for the whole NBA. And we'll get into that with the other videos of the what is next my series. So that is priority number 5, and that is where we end our video. Once again, my name is Kevin Barral. Make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all the social medias linked below. We will be dropping at least 1 video every day. That is the goal. If not, maybe 3 or 4 videos a week, and that is the goal as well. We're trying to bring out content for you guys that you don't see too much on YouTube, and just consistent content as well. Make sure to share the video as well. Share it to all your friends, Facebook groups, your social medias. We want to grow this channel to 200 subs. There's a possible rebrand, so I will be making a video on that once the rebrand happens, or maybe a couple days before, just to show you the new logo. Not logo maybe, but the new name of the channel, the new logo. So we're trying to make that happen so this channel could be widely seen a lot more in a lot more spots in the world. So that is the plan with the channel. Once again, my name is Kevin Barra, and I'll see you guys on the next one.